Hi, I'm Pete, and this is a short video I wanted to put together with issues and problems that the car has. But you have to bear with me. I have limited resources as far as audio and video, and I'm not an actor, so excuse in advance all of the shortcomings of this video. But take a look here at some of the issues that I know and I wanted to point out about the car. The car has almost no rust anywhere, but one of the areas I did want to point out is actually up here in the front of the car. Sometime back the master cylinder started leaking brake fluid, and I didn't realize it at the time, and so that brake fluid leaked down and sat on the paint. And so as you see in here, the paint has come off. There's just a little bit of corrosion, and then down here low in the spare tire well here. So again, one of the few areas where paint isn't perfect on this car. Wanted to point that out. One other issue is the car does leak a little bit of oil. I took it into the shop to see if they could fix it. They haven't fixed the problem. I'm not sure if it's the O-ring seal on the distributor or what it is. But here on the floor you can see I've driven it a few times. You'll have just a couple of drips like this. It bothers me, but again, that is legitimately a small problem that the car has. This is the original leather interior. It's in generally excellent condition with one exception. This is the driver's seat, and you can see right on this seam here, the seam has split right along the bottom here. Hard to see if you're not just looking right at it, but that is a split right there in the leather. I've always run it with seat covers, so I didn't really notice it, but that would be an issue. That's the only issue for the seats and the leather interior. One little missing problem here on the driver's seat is the lumbar support lever. It's a little lever that goes on this little gear right here. I got a lever, it didn't fit exactly right, and since I wasn't adjusting it, I just left it off. But this is something that you could get a lever that would fit properly on this gear. Another thing to mention here is this remote trunk release is not operable. That is a common thing. I did fix it once, but there was enough friction in the wire that it eventually popped loose again. So I know where the issue is. It's underneath the carpet where you would be able to reattach it, but again, there's a little too much friction in the wire, so it'll probably pop the little holder loose again. But again, remote trunk release does not work, but you can use the key to open the trunk just fine. This is one other issue. I believe this windshield was replaced at some point by a prior owner, and you can see just a little bit hint of, I don't know, corrosion or you know, a little mismatch here that normally I wouldn't think much about. However, there is some excessive wind noise from right around this area that you hear when you're driving the car. So I don't know if they didn't do a good job of sealing up here, or if silicone or something would repair that in terms of the noise anyway. But again, just a very minor issue up here on the top of the car. It's the only real corrosion I'm aware of. One other little issue is this is the prop rod for the rear engine cover. One side of this little plastic clip is broken, so the clip will not actually attach to this little bung here, and it will tend to drop on the engine like that when you're running. So again, a minor item, but this little clip is half broken on the prop rod. The prop rod itself, though, works just fine. And here in the engine area, I want to point out a couple of things. I see just the beginning of, it looks like some antifreeze leakage at this hose point here, and also just a little bit of oil leakage on top here. If you look down, I'm guessing the valve cover gasket is probably leaking slightly, and possibly the little seals here at the valve cover bolts. Again, all of these parts, the radiator hose, gaskets and so forth, I have all of those already available, just have not replaced the parts yet. One other thing I'll mention, this isn't a current problem, but it might be in the future. These little parking lights, they are the Euro version. The previous owner swapped out the originals for these Euro style. The white components, they don't light up, and there is some corrosion in the housing for these yellow lamps. And so every now and again, I might get a fast turn signal blink because the light up here on one or the other isn't making good contact. You see they're both working now. I just have the hazard lights on, but again, if you were to drive it and start to get a fast turn signal blinking in the relay, it's probably one of these bulbs up here having a little rust in the housing.